So as we left it the last time you guys saw, we just finished painting the walls and staining the floor. We actually didn't stain the floor, we used an oil, a dark tung oil, but it's a stain and sealer in one, we'll call it. And we've let the room sit now for, I don't know, it's got to be over a week. It feels like it's been forever. But this was after getting all the multiple coats of oil on the floor and letting it sit and dry. And now it's dry enough that it's not coming off, it's in the wood, and it's safe to come in here and do some work. So we're at the point now where we can continue finishing out the room, and that means trim work. I have to refinish this doorway, so I'm going to break out the stain and get this done. We're also going to stain all the baseboards and new door trim. So we went to the store yesterday, we bought all the wood we need to do all the trim in this bedroom. I think we'll have it. So let's get working. So right now we're just taking measurements because I need to pre-cut all my trim the best that I can. So we got our measurements and we got our wood cut. These are ready to stain. These are door and baseboards. But the window trim I'm going to pre-assemble before we stain it. So that's what I'm working on now. What we're going to do is box the window out like a full trim set. So we're going to do jamb extensions to go inside the window bay, and then we're going to attach our casing around it, and it's all going to be one unit that we slide in and install that way. So it's a pretty simple concept. We make a box and we hook our trim on it. So that's all I'm going to do right now. I'm going to get this ready and then we'll move on to the next step. So I just pocket hold the window casing together, the frame, and we're going to attach it to the jamb. Like that. See. Yeah. This is going to be a little bit different than the rest of the trim in our house because we're going to be using this decorative rope trim on top instead of the piece that we used previously. And down here, we're just going to attach a little sill piece. I think that's ready for stain, Ash. Okay, we're just making sure that we have everything ready before I start staining. And I think we're there, but I wanted to show you some custom pieces that I had made off camera. So these are just 1-inch square dowels that I put a bevel on the front, and then I drilled a hole in the top. You're going to see what this is for later, but this is going to be our corner blocking for the baseboard trim. And I also made these little pieces here. A little bit tricky to make. They look fragile. We're going to be careful with them. We're going to stain these also. We also ran through some base cap. Let me show you. These are going to go on top of the baseboards to make them decorative. So we did those on the router table. I think we're ready.
I'm so glad this trim is getting done.
Uh-huh.
This is really going to pull the room together.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
I'm glad.
You put too much black on, don't you think?
I don't know.
I like this side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fuchsia came out good. Orange is tricky. It seems to wash out easy.
Not only did we touch up this old trim, but I've actually been taking time to stain and finish all of the other trim for this bedroom. Now I'm ready to start attaching some of these decorative pieces on here so that it matches the new trim that we'll be installing. So let me get these tacked in. Then we're going to come in here and throw some shellac on this door just to clean it up a little. And now don't worry about the little holes. We have hole filler that matches this trim, so we'll just touch those up later. But you can kind of get an idea of what this trim is going to look like in here. Pretty unique. Again, we will fill the holes, you won't even see them. That's cool. So you might notice that we're changing things in here with the trim and using this rope trim. It's called rope trim, or molding, whatever you want to call it. That's because clearly we're going for like a nautical theme, but we're not going like super nautical. It's subtle nautical. You guys, you saw it with the blue and the white. A lot of people guessed. This is actually the, we'll call it the chair rail, but it's actually kind of a rope style trim with the two beads. And those beads are kind of cool because they mimic the same round that I put right there. Now it's getting later in the day than I'd like to start doing this project, but the shellac is finally dry. We're done. I did 3 coats of shellac on all the trims, so it's looking good. And we are ready for install, so we're going to get right into it. I'm going to start with the window, get that box put in. It's going to be cool. The window trim looks great. It just fit. It was a snug fit, but we got it in there. Look how quick that finishes off the window. Now we're doing corner trim. These are the corner blocks for the baseboard. All I'm doing is nailing these right down in the corner. And then I'll scratch it up. I think it'll go. Yeah. That's the fit I like, the perfect fit.
Yeah.
We're making big progress and we've made it all the way around the room with all of the baseboard trim. It's finished and looking really good. We also did the closet baseboard and the closet corner trim. We decided to keep it simple and just did a square dowel down the corner, and it's a really clean finish. We're happy with that. But in the bedroom, we have something a little more special planned. And we went ahead and bought this 100-foot roll of 1-inch jute rope. So this is all natural, real jute. Just a nice heavy-duty rope that looks good, looks authentic. We're going to be using this as the trim in the corners. So it's going to look really cool. We decided to keep this rope theme going, and you can see why we brought the woodwork, the rope molding in here. And it's going to tie right into this, but we wanted to just step it up a notch and do something a little more unique. That's why we built those custom corner blocks with a hole in top. What I'm going to do is insert the rope right into those corner blocks, so it's like it comes right out of the woodwork. It'll be a nice smooth transition and blend it all in together. So I have a zip tie on the end of this rope. That's to keep it from fraying and coming off. And it will insert right down there into that little trim. And we're going to go ahead and start stapling this up into the corner. I just got to unwind it a little bit so it's not spirally. So we have our zip tied rope, and our corner trim has a hole in it that we drilled. So when you stick it in there, check this out. Well, this is turning out pretty good. The rope, it looks cool. Took a couple minutes to get the hang of it and figure out the new stapler and figure out where the staples looked best in the rope, but we got it. We're choosing staples because we want it to cling to the rope, and I feel like nails are just going to pull right through it. There's just nothing to grab onto. So staples are key. We got big, like 1.25" staples, I think, and they grab enough to hold it firm. Now that we have the corner trim done, we're going to do the same thing with the crown molding. We're going to wrap the rope all the way around the room. You probably don't need them as close as I'm doing them. I just don't want it like sagging. We left the original crown molding in the closet. It's just a 1/4 round molding. We left that in place when we did this renovation, so we don't need anything in there. That's all done. We figured it doesn't have to be too fancy inside our closet. But out here, we wanted it to be special. Maverick loves ropes. Look at that.
Wow.
That works out.
So cool.
I just went around the room and hot glued those corner blocks in place so that they wouldn't slide on the rope. Just a little bit of glue to hold them where they go. And now I'm going to start doing this molding right here. We're running out of light, but I think we can get this done tonight. So I'm going to just focus on that and get them all done. I'll be right back with the molding installed. Well guys, it's morning time and the room is looking good. I'm looking around at our work that we accomplished last night and I am happy with it. I hope that we're not overdoing the rope theme. I know we're using rope molding and real rope together and I hope that doesn't clash. The rope, 1 inch, was the right size. It's nice looking. The staples, even though they're visible, you don't really notice them. So I was kind of bothered when I started with the visible staples, but you don't see them from a distance. And the rope actually worked better than our typical crown molding that we've been doing in the bedrooms because, I mean, this is a new ceiling. This one probably wouldn't have been that bad, but some of the old boards, they're not always perfect. So when you put the corner trim in or the ceiling trim, there's gaps because some boards stick out more, they're crooked, whatever. The rope, it just worked good for this. So we're happy with that. Now that all the rope work is done, I can show you something that really inspired our decision to do the rope. And that is the new ceiling light that our son picked out for his room. We went online together. We scrolled through page after page of all different ceiling lights and I said, just point at the ones you like, show me what you want. Now this is one that stood out to him and he said he wanted, right here. So it's gonna look better once it's all set up on the ceiling, but check out the rope design in there. Real rope. So I'm hoping this will look good in here. I'm gonna get it installed. We'll try it out. I'm going to throw these in there. I think they'll look better than a round bulb. But now we have another problem. I need my light switches. And we're going to be carrying on with our classic switch theme and doing these old style push button switches. I just went around the room and installed all the outlets, so those are done. Now I'm installing the vacuum port. Now before I put this in, we've Every time we install one of these, we have people for weeks on end tell us that we are installing it upside down and that this should be this way. And the reasoning is that the hose will break the door off. I'll tell you, this is metal, solid metal. This door is very robust. It's not like cheap, it's got a strong spring. It's very strong. But this is what you want to look at. Not that anybody's installing central vacuums anymore, but first of all, on the back of the cover, it says right here, this end up. You might not be able to see it, but it's embossed, this end up. That tells me it goes this way. And the other thing, the most important thing, is the electrical contacts in there. Can you see these? That's where the hose activates. When you plug in the hose, it activates the vacuum system. You don't want the electrical contacts on the bottom because it's more likely for something to fall and rest on them and debris to collect on them. So that's why you put it upwards. So the electrical contacts are more important than the door direction. This one's just designed to go this way. Hopefully that clears that up. I should have lubricated that O-ring. But it should be okay. So as you can see, we have these outlets over here done, but there's a box right there. Let me show you that one. This is actually the electrical for the electric heater we're going to be installing in here. This is the wall heater we decided to install in this bedroom, NV wall-mounted room heater. These are low wattage heaters that are safe to use, they're kid friendly, you can't get burnt. They're just extremely safe and quiet and sleek. I got to use this packaging as a template. So I went ahead, we marked our mounting holes. Now we just got to screw these little brackets to the wall. Now let me just see where this is going to hang. I'll do this one. So on the back, you see there's a variety of holes that you can punch out depending on where your electrical is coming out of the wall. I'm going to do this middle one right here. So I knocked that out. Now I'm putting this little grommet in here. Now we take this wire that comes out the bottom and you fish it back through. There. Now I just have to make the connections. So, got my connections made, shoved it back in there. And now, we do have room to feed this wire into the box, but as well as into the unit here. So we'll just try to use up some of that. And we just try to hang this on the brackets. Well, I don't know if you guys gathered that, but basically you get it on those brackets and you just push down until it locks. It kind of clicks into place. And now it's solid and it's flush to the wall. It looks good. And this heater has a built-in power switch and thermostat right here. So that's why we didn't have to wire in any extra thermostats or anything like that. Smoke alarm. There's what? Alright, smoke alarm done. Well guys, I would say we are done. Now the last piece of electrical that we have to do is wire up the closet light, but we'll have to head to the store and pick one up. I know what I want, we just don't have it. So we'll do that later, but I'm going to leave you guys with this. We accomplished so much. The room is finished, the trim work looks beautiful, except for hole filling. I still have to go around the room. I'll be using this little mahogany fill stick. It's a waxy type of crayon that you rub on the holes, they fill them in. And that'll make all the nails practically invisible, so I'll do that later. But Good, we got the light installed, we got the heater, everything's looking awesome. I love how the details like this came out. I wasn't sure how to interact wood with a rope, and that's what I came up with, and I think it's pretty neat. Now up in these corners, you can see we just hid the end of the rope with the crown rope, and that worked out well for us too. It's gonna all tie back to this light fixture, which, like I said, our son picked out, and do you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's all we have for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.
Bye.